And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
I did it again. I was so busy talking to hell I didn't push the button. I told you guys I'm going to get this right. We bring the music back into this studio, and, dang it. I'm sorry, guys. But I was having an interesting conversation with Helen. Let me tell you what's going on. My whole thing is that this disillusionment, when I talk to soldiers, they are, we came here to help, like Adam Kokesh will be at the top of the hour. And his whole thing was, he goes, I come over here, I wanted to help, I went to be a Marine. I learned Arabic. I was supposed to be part of the social, we're going to take care of them, we're good guys. We're going to rebuild and help them. No, this isn't about being able to be an example of, the great American way, truth, justice, and whatever the heck used to be the American way over here. It's not to end the war. It's not to, get rid of the bad guy and then you guys get to have self-determination. It is to continue the war. It is to fight the war. It is to create money for those that profit from the war and for those that fund it to create a debt. Yesterday we had John Perkins on, Confession of Economic Hitman. He's been a good friend of the show for years, and I'm telling you, he's like, Egypt, all this, it's all about the debt. It's all about creating debt. So I'm going, all right. When the women come over, do you think they have a different perspective? Well, you look at, the black soldiers in Vietnam, they go over, we're going to, bring them freedom. And then what happens when they go home and they're being discriminated against? This is, and I look at the women, they go over there. Yeah, we want to help. Might they be a little bit more compassionate? Might they have some of them are mothers. Might they have a little bit more, empathy for the children there? Might they be a little bit different perspective that, they might benefit from, we might benefit from? I know I benefit from the women in my life, my wife, my daughters. It's a wider radar screen. It's a different perspective on the world. Are they allowed to get that, or are they just immediately disillusioned that the very government that sent them there to have this message, and we're going to have women in the military, what do? They are abused, abandoned, and they are victimized, and then who's there to help them? The government? No. So I after talking to 40 women that have been into Iraq, that have served there, and many that are part of this class action lawsuit in the Pentagon, Helen, the women disillusionment, what's your perspective on that?
Well, they go over with the same ideas and ideals as the men. They're all told the same things in basic training. At the beginning of the war in 2003, they were all told that they were going, if you remember, to liberate Iraq, to bring democracy, to liberate the women, make life better for everyone. So they go over there, and many soldiers, men and women, looked around and saw the bombed villages and the starving children, and were forced to run over children sometimes if they ran into the convoys, and are saying to themselves, how is this liberating anyone? So I heard a lot of that. But I would say that, on the whole, women tended to get disillusioned faster. I saw a survey that was done in 2005 of soldiers who were in Iraq, anonymous survey, but statistically significant. 80% of the women and 69% of the men thought we should get out within a year. So more women were already disillusioned with the war, and I think that's because, maybe partly because they're more compassionate, although there are lots of fathers there too, but because they're outcasts. They're treated as pariahs so often. They're not really allowed to be one of us in the military. So they're already feeling that this family that they were supposed to trust is rejecting them. And so they're not brainwashed as much, if you like, by loyalty and fierce loyalty to the rest of the soldiers that makes them blind to the mission at times. Now, there are lots of exceptions, and I'm generalizing it, and it'll otherwise it's not fair to characterize everyone in one way. But that's my guess about why more women got disillusioned faster than men.
I'll give you from a male perspective, and certainly young men. My sons are in their early 20s, and I remember them distinctly. Their combat games they play in military and go and paintballing and their friends and all this kind of stuff. I think they'd be slower to be critical of their circumstance because they get to go out and shoot guns. We get to go do that testosterone venting thing. We get, so they may be, kind of focused on a different feedback that they get from it. But sooner or later, they're human beings. And this is
that may be true for some of the men. But don't forget that everybody goes through basic training, men and women, and basic training is designed to tear the civilian resistance you have to killing down and put a killer in its place, whatever gender you are. You are trained to reflexively kill by the time you enter the war.
Helen, from a male perspective, I'll guarantee you the ability to get that instilled into a young man is a lot easier than a young woman. It's just, I know the attempt is to make them the same killing machine, but I tell you, I don't see it as a detriment. I see it as a trait, as a benefit of women to have this difference. Viva la difference, because we're going to need it. So when a lot of people in politics, they go, no, we can't have, I'm old enough, I'm 50 years old almost, so I'm going, I remember when we had the first female Supreme Court justice. I remember we had the first female this, the first female that, and the first I'm going, yeah, and the problem is what? Let's have the diversity. It should be different. The thing that I'm looking at is that when they go over and they're exposed to combat, they're exposed to the circumstances here, I'm wondering, I expect them to react differently. I'm not surprised by your percentage at all. But what I'm wondering is the command structure inside the military. It's probably a lot more, testosterone than estrogen. And I'm going, where's the compassion there? Is there someone, is it just totally reacting to public opinion? Or is there someone, a female or even a male, that's sensitive to the rights of individual women that are just as soldiers, just because they're human beings that are championing their cause? Where is that person?
Well, there are a few sympathetic souls, and there are lots of people who've worked hard on this. But, the military's never been interested in the individuality of its soldiers.
Thank you.
That's the whole military, where they're all supposed to work as machines. I mean, that's been said for generations. You can read World War I literature and find that, or earlier, way earlier. The soldier gives up his or her individuality. That's part of the whole idea. They become a unit, an obedient unit.
Now, this is a good point. It is not about that. They'll say it's for the individual and how it's going to benefit the individual soldiers and all that kind of stuff. We can go out and kill people and break things. But we're there to benefit the individuals that we're doing it as a justification for doing it and give us your money because we're doing it and we're good guys. Well, when everybody knows that is a lie. It is a lie by their actions. It is a lie by how they protect and defend even the individual soldiers or the people they're supposed to protect and defend, or even this country. Right now we have National Guard is going to start moving in on Wisconsin because you got a bunch of state employees out there complaining. So I'm going, this is, it's bad. It's a bad cultural thing. So I'm looking at just what you said. The military is not about individuals. It is about la machine. The machine to, suck out money from the taxpayers or to go do or perpetuate the machine and get more for the machine. Heck, even Obama's, we're going to increase, defense spending as if it's in our defense to be spending all this money on these offensive wars. So I'm going, okay, so where is it that we find humanity in control or have an influence on this military machine with this attitude? What do we do? I mean, this lawsuit that these women, which is great. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for writing a book. Thank you for challenging the Pentagon, no less. Thank you for bringing this issue up. Thank you for giving me another opportunity to rant. But I'm going, where is you're appealing to whom? I mean, where are you going to get your just due?
Well, the people who are actually being sued are Secretary of Defense Robert Gates and his predecessor Donald Rumsfeld. So they're the ones who are being pinpointed for being responsible for the neglectful attitude towards women who've been sexually assaulted. So it's going to have to start with Gates.
And any excuse to go after Rumsfeld, amen. Yeah, he was at CPAC and he got, an award. Yeah, conservatives saying defender of the Constitution. Wow. Stay tuned later. We're going to be talking to Jeanne that was at CPAC during that. We'll be right back with more from Helen in just a little bit.